Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another Monday Mindset. Hopefully, you guys had a great weekend. It is March 10th. It is almost to the end of the first quarter, which is crazy, right? So we're almost one quarter of four down. Where are you at towards your goals? I want to talk to you about, kind of road mapping your business. Today, I just went through this exercise with my CRO and COO and then my marketing director, and just kind of road mapping out the whole business in order to determine the levers that would make the best. Like if we change this lever by 1%, well, I'll give you the question that I asked myself. If I was given the ability to change any one of the major levers in my business by 1 percentage point, what lever would I add that 1 percentage point gain or 1 percentage point decrease to? And you should ask yourself that type of hypothetical question because that will dictate to you, do you know the levers in your business, and do you have those tracked, and do you have an understanding of how your business flows? And even for me with Reminder Media, I feel like we have so many reports, and I was joking with my BI team. It's like I have so many reports that we never use, but yet we don't have the basic reports that we need in order to really understand this business. And so going through a reflection time to map out your business is something that's extremely healthy. I just did it and got some unreal, what I would call unlocks of like, wow, man, these places were really struggling. And these places were doing way better than we thought we were. And it came from literally sitting in a room, no joke, this was last week, sitting in a room from 9:30 to 6:30 and just going through the whole business. Now, my business is a little different than you guys, right? I run a marketing company with hundreds of employees, and we're selling marketing to insurance agents, real estate agents, and so forth. But the idea of business is the same. You have to go out into the world and you have to, define who your target audience is based upon the value prop that you're bringing to the table. You have to get that target audience to know, like, and trust you. You have to convert them into clients. You have to onboard those clients. You have to service those clients. You have to retain those clients. And all throughout that buyer's journey and that client journey, there are metrics and levers that you can be pulling to improve your business. And so I want to encourage you today on March 10th, as we come to the end of the quarter, hey, don't wait till the end of the quarter to reflect. You basically already know where Q1 is going to end up for you. How are you doing towards your goals that you set out for 2025, and what needs to change? You remember from a previous Monday Mindset, I talked to you about the secret to success in business is act, track, and pivot. Take action, track your results because you can't improve what you don't measure, and then pivot, meaning iterate. That's what good software development does, is they release an MVP, a minimal viable product, to the marketplace so they can get feedback, because the number one killer of all SaaS companies is they try to build the perfect product and they don't even realize that they spend all this time, energy, and money on this product, and then they put it to the market and it's not what the actual client wanted, and the client still wants tweaks. So instead of experiencing that where you spend all this time, energy, and money, the key is going, hey, let me get the MVP out so I can then get market feedback and I can iterate and add the feature sets and add the improvements to the SaaS software that I need in order for it to be a better and better platform for my clients. The same for business. Get out to the marketplace, take action, getting that ideal target audience to know, like, and trust you, selling those people, onboarding those people, servicing those people, and then track, well, what did it take to get in front of those people? What did it take to convert them? What did it take to onboard them? What did it take to service them? And then iterate on what you are measuring so you can improve your perfect company. And so what my goal was in this exercise is to sit down and map out every moment that is the major moment. And we started with the sources. I called them the sources of how we are getting clients in the door. And so we have about 6 sources that get clients in the door, from what we call webinars to internet paid leads to stuff like that, and mapping out what are the sources, how many leads have come from those in the past 12 months. Now, we used a 12-month time frame as a way to get metrics for us. Now, you could do the last 3 months if you feel like your business has totally changed and 3 months is a better indicator. What I was trying to do is go, what's the best data set that would be a great indicator of future performance, right? Because future performance is dictated by historical performance. So I was looking for, well, what's my best indicator metric-wise of future performance? Well, let me take the last 12 months of performance in these categories and use that as my benchmark of like, this is probably, with changing nothing, how we will perform this year. So we wrote down sources. How do we get leads in the door? And wrote down from referrals to reactivations of past clients to webinars and so forth, every source that comes in to bring, or that we use to bring in leads. In essence, the sources that we have to go out to our ideal target audience like yourself and try to get you to know us, like us, and trust us. And then we wrote down, well, how many leads came from these sources? Because we have these in reports. All right. And what was the average conversion of these sources? Now, like anything, you can go really deep on most of the things that you're going to put down. But for the sake of the exercise, you should stay what I call is at the macro versus the micro to get through. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in the sauce where you will start just going down the road, like take internet paid, for instance. Well, we have so many different ways that we advertise, from Facebook to Instagram to Google and so forth. So we could go down into the sub campaigns and down into that spend. But for the sake of this exercise, we stayed at the parent campaign level going, hey, all paid advertising generated this amount of leads, because I want to get through the whole exercise before I go down deeper in to peel back the onion. And that's what I would encourage you. Stay high level, mark, I call them parent campaigns. What's the parent source? Paid ads is a parent source for us. Webinars is a paid parent, or it's a parent source for us. Organic, so this would be organic, where I'm just putting content out into the world. Somebody might come across Luke Acree here on the Insurance Syndicate, looks up Reminder Media, requests a sample of our product, but that's organic. But technically at the sub layer, when I peel back the onion, it's the Insurance Syndicate, right? So I'm listing all my parent campaigns source-wise, leads that come through those parent campaigns, conversion that happens from those parent campaigns, and looking at, how many wins have happened because of that conversion rate. Then for us, we have another step in the process, and we call it the approval, where I might have a client that gave me their billing information to use our marketing services, but we don't really have a client until they use the service in our mind, until they print the postcard or print the magazine or send the email campaign. That's what we call the approval process. You might call it the onboarding of the client, that you sold them a policy, you sold them what they need, but until you get the actual approval done, it's not a true sale. So we measure in our business, here are the sources to generate the leads, here are the conversion of the leads, here are the sales that have come from the leads, but here are the approvals that have come from those sales. And that's a key metric for us in our business. This is why you got to know your business and what's key for you, because there's a huge gap that tends to happen usually from sale to actual approval. And tell you that that's been one of the hardest things for our business. Back in the day, we were only getting like 65 to 69 out of 100 people who signed up to actually use the product. They would pay us money to set it up and they would not use the product. Now we've gotten that up to 85 out of 100. But my goal is, man, if you pay 89 out of 100, maybe there's one-offs that don't use the product because you just can't, they're insane. But it's amazing how many small business owners sign up for things they never use, and that might be you today. Don't be that person. Use the products you sign up for. But I got to measure that gap. So, okay, now I put that conversion rate down. And then from there, I put the conversion rates of servicing the clients. Now, for you, it might be the renewal that you're tracking at that point is how many people renew. But for us, it's like, how long do they stay? And that gives us how many prints do they do and so forth. And then what we're looking for, and these are the key metrics that we wanted to determine at first, is, okay, here's how many leads, here's how much conversion or percentage of conversion, how many sales happened, how many of those sales actually got approved, how many of those approvals actually used the product for how many months. And then we write down the key points. How much did it cost us, the CAC, the client acquisition cost, How much did it cost us in each of these parent sources? So referrals, there's no cost because we literally are getting the referral for free from you to your friend or to your family member. And so there's no cost there versus internet paid. There's millions of dollars in costs that we're spending. Now, the hairy thing here when it comes to your sources and costs is like I know, that internet paid feeds your email list. Internet paid feeds your organic. And sometimes it's hard to tell what the impact of that. For us, we just said, no, we got to keep it true to internet paid. We know there's a direct one-to-one cost here. Keep all that in this bucket. This is free. This is free. And you can do what's called a blended CAC, where you're taking the blend of all of them, the average of all of them, and saying, hey, well, this is the blended CAC together. So it shows you your different values. But you got to know, how much did it cost me to acquire this client? And then you can go, here's how much it cost me to get the lead. Here's how much it cost me to sell the lead, the commissions that I pay to my salesman to sell the lead. This is how much it cost me to approve the person, and approval is use the onboarding, use the product. And then I'm measuring that as my CAC. That from my cost of lead to my cost of sale to my cost of approval, which is the true sale, combining all that together, and that is my CAC. That is how much it cost me to get a client in each of these major lead sources. And then this is why you need that number, because now what you're going to measure is you're going to measure, what do I make from this client in these parent campaigns? When I'm advertising on the internet and doing paid ads, what am I making from a client that comes through that campaign and stays with me? So in order to know that, I need to know how many months, like what's the lifetime or lifespan that client's with me? Like, how long do you keep a client for in your business? And then I can do some math that goes, okay, if the average client is staying with me for 18 months or staying with me for 24 months, now I can put some dollars to it and go, this is my lifetime value of this client. And I can now go and get the most important metric usually in business, which is your ratio of CAC to lifetime value. Meaning it costs you $100 to get a client, but you make $1,000 off of that client. What is your ratio of CAC to LTV? And here's where you go, you want at least a 1-to-3 ratio. It costs you 1, but you make 3 on your money, right? Your goal should be to try to get to a 1-to-4, because that's a really healthy business. Below a 3, you should start thinking to yourself, okay, should I raise my price? Is my cost of acquisition too high? But you want to try to get a 1-to-3 ratio. If I were you, we did this. We were using ChatGPT, OpenAI's deep research. We're feeding it all of our data that we're getting, plugging it in. We've already prompted it to, tell it kind of the situation and what we want you to look at, and go and do research on companies like ours in the marketing space, selling to the industries that we sell to. What is a normal CAC to LTV ratio? What should be a good one? What's a bad one? What's a good churn rate? Like, we are plugging that into ChatGPT, and within 15, 20 minutes, it's pumping back out great research for us to be able to balance or give us some benchmarks to go off of. I just know in my industry, man, I want to try to be at a 1-to-4. That's where I want to try to be. You should do it for your industry and insurance, because I don't know what the normal CAC is, or CAC to LTV ratio is in an insurance-based business, but you should put that into ChatGPT. Now, when you know those numbers, what do you immediately are able to do? You now can go, oh, wow, I didn't realize for 3 activations, I'm getting a 1-to-29 ratio. If I just increase percentage, like, it was insane. Like with Reacts for us, we call them Reacts. It's a client that was with us in the past. We reactivate them to come back. That's a great client because you're not spending any money, or a great lead. You're not spending any money. You already have the lead and information. You're just reaching back out. So you have sales costs and approval costs, but no lead costs. Well, if we improved it by 2 percentage points, it like tripled the CAC to LTV ratio. By 2 percentage points in closing. So then what does that make us do? That makes us as a sales team go, oh, who calls these leads, these reactivation leads? Oh, we're spreading them across our sales team. What if we had a dedicated team that they specialize in just reactivations. And they become assassins in reactivations, so we can change that percentage point, not just by 2% higher closing rate, but by 10% higher closing. You're getting like a 1 to 29 CAC to LTV ratio, and that could change everything for your profitability. And so those are the things you can start doing. So when we mapped out this, it's just an Excel doc, just a raw Excel doc. We made it so it's a formula. So we said, well, what if we took this parent campaign of referrals, and instead of closing at 13% there on that campaign, we closed at 18%. What would that do across the board to the numbers? Or CAC to LTV ratio, the profitability, all that stuff, and you start seeing the levers in your business. Oh, what if we started approving people in this internet paid campaign? Our approvals is less than in our organic campaign. Well, it makes sense because in an internet paid situation for our ads, we're interrupting you on Facebook. You're not really thinking about reminder media. We interrupt you with an ad. We get you to go to our website. You end up signing up. So you weren't thinking about signing up. We interrupted you. We dragged you there. We got you on the phone. We sold you. So you didn't have super high intent, but you did like it and you signed up. So the chance of that type of person going through and using the product is lower than an organic lead, where an organic lead is someone who sought you out, who came to your stuff based upon seeing you somewhere, but they were more intentional. Well, our organic leads improved insanely high versus our internet paids approved lower. Whoa, what if we could change the approval rate of our internet paid leads by 5%? What would that do to our CAC to LTV ratio? What would that do to our profitability? And it's amazing when you have this laid out where you can see what levers in your business you need to focus on, and it will help dictate your strategy. So my exercise for you is the same one that I did just last week, where it's like, okay, coming to the end of the quarter, some things are going extremely well, some things, again, aren't going well. What do I need to look at? Well, I need to get my main people in a room and make sure we map out this business from start to finish and make sure all the metrics are there, and then figure out what lever we need to pull going into Q2 in order to make the biggest difference in profitability, because that is what matters. In the health of the business, it should be like a money machine. To LTV, that you can just pour money into the system, and then you can create what are called the rules of your business. You might call them the SOPs, the standard operating procedures. Have you ever listened to videos of these entrepreneurs or gone to these conferences and they're like, you need SOPs? Really what they're saying is, yes, you need standard operating procedures to be able to train people and to know what to do and all that jazz. But what you're really looking for as a business owner is you need the rules of the money machine that you won't break. Meaning you need to define the math of your business that you know if this campaign goes below a 10% conversion, cut the money on it, because we're not making money anymore. We're losing money. You got to define those rules of the money machine so you can have complete confidence that you can just pump money in, because as long as SOPs are holding, I'm going to make money in the long term, and so I'm going to pump money in. If these rules are broken, change. And then if you want to test something, well, you can then set that aside as outside investment and go, hey, I'm willing to risk $100K here to test this new thing, and I'm allowing this to be tested and see what works. But I know that's investment. I know there's a risk there, versus my money machine being like, hey, just keep feeding the money to this, follow these rules. You got to have the rules for your business. No, most people don't even take the time to write down their sources of lead channel, let alone their conversion of each lead channel, and then map it all the way through. I am telling you, if you want to win, you got to do that mundane work, and it might be sitting in a room from 9:30 to 6:30 and just plugging away, finding the numbers, calculating it up, and going, oh, we don't have that number? Okay, let's call that person. Hey, let's go into and pull that data and do it ourselves. Like it might just be that mundane work of lifting the bricks and putting them down, but you got to get those numbers, because where your focus goes, your energy goes, and what you focus on expands. What if right now you're focused on the wrong lever in your business, that if you just looked at the levers and realized if you move this one up the stream 2%, you would actually crazy move your LTV and CAC? That is what you're looking for as a business owner. So I hope that helps you guys. I can't see any of the comments, so I don't know why Facebook does this to me, but hope you're having an incredible Monday morning. Let's go win. We're almost to the end of Q1. Let's make it happen. Get ready for Q2. Get out there and win for you, for your clients, for your family. Hope this was helpful. Oh, there's the comments. What's up, Alicio? Good to see you, Joe. Flip, Lily, thanks for tuning in, and everybody else. But I hope this helped. Let's have a great Monday. Appreciate you guys. Bye.